Good morning, students, and welcome back to the online learning platform of Kanodia PG Mahila Mahavidyalaya. So, let us begin with what do we mean by organization. According to Etzioni, organizations are social units or human groupings deliberately constructed to seek specific goals. So basically, in layman language, organization is a group of people who come together to achieve a particular goal, which we commonly call as the organizational goal. So organization is a system consisting of 4 interacting subsystems. So this is a division of organization, as in what is the structure or what do we have in an organization. An organization consists of structure of organization, which means what is the organizational chart, how are the organizational people, how are the people structured within an organization, or you can say the hierarchy of the organization, who will lead who will work under whom, is all what is structure all about. So structure, in other words, means the hierarchy or the organizational chart that is followed within an organization is termed as structure. Then we have task. Task means the work, the activities. So the set of activities that have to be performed within an organization is termed as task. So what the people will do, what is the main working of the people of the organizational human resources, comes under task. Then we have technology. Technology here would mean the level of sophistication determining the workflow and performance of jobs in an organization. This may also be termed as the functioning of the organization. What technology is the organization using in order to get its task completed? How are they performing the job in an organization? How is the workflow going? What is the technology followed? How are they making their people work? Will come under technology. And then at last we have people. People are the main source in an organization. By people we mean the humans, the human resources, the human inputs that we use in an organization. People are the main ingredient of an organization, because organizational goals will be achieved only when people would work, only if people are there. The definition of organization itself says that it is a grouping of people. People come together to achieve a particular goal. So people may form the main ingredient of an organization, the main input in an organization, because they are ultimately responsible to achieve the organizational goal, to maintain the working of the organization, and to achieve the task or to complete the task which has been allotted to them through their physical and mental capacities. So these are the 4 main ingredients of an organization. Then I have been using this term goal again and again, that people come together to achieve a particular goal, which is known as organizational goal. So we will see here that what do we mean by goal. So goals basically serve many functions. They set down guidelines for an organizational activity. Basically, you can say that this is a predetermined target that people have to achieve for an organization. If you see any process, it will always start with a predetermined goal, because you will work only when there is a preset goal for you to achieve. If there is a target for you to achieve, the functioning will be smooth and the targets will be achieved only when you have a goal set for yourself. Even when you are a student and you are thinking, or you are in a dilemma what course to take after 12th or after your graduation, the one question people would ask you is, what is your goal in life? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Where do you see yourself 10 years down the line? So that long-term vision that a student should have, the long-term vision that an organization will have, are termed as goals of an organization. What are we trying to achieve in future is your goal. Your present activities will decide your future goals are achieved or not achieved. So in order to do any kind of an activity today, you need to know what is the goal you are trying to achieve. So here they say that the goal will set a guideline for you to achieve. It will set a standard for you, for the members of an organization, and also people outside the organization, which ultimately have a direct or an indirect impact on the organization, like your stakeholders, shareholders, the public in common. All these people outside the organization also have an impact on the working of an organization. So goals here will set a standard for all of them, for the members inside and outside the organization. And these standards have to be achieved by the human resources, by the people working within an organization. So basically, in short, goals can be treated as a guideline or a standard or a target that an organization has to achieve. Now, if we talk about structure, the structure here would mean an arrangement or a relationship between various people within an organization. It can also be termed as hierarchy within an organization. Hierarchy, what does hierarchy mean? It means you have A topping the chart. A will lead 2 people, B and C. Then again you have 5 or 6 people under B and 5 or 6 people under C. So this type of hierarchical structure, the tree structure that we have studied before also, this kind of hierarchical pattern or hierarchical arrangement of people is termed as structure in an organization. So structure basically clarifies within an employee that who he has to report to, who is he answerable to, who can ask questions to him regarding the work done. For example, who will be my leader will be decided by my structure. Every subordinate in an employee has to report to his top level management. That top level management and the subordinate relationship is decided by the structure of the organization. If you see in our college, students have to report to their respective teachers, and teachers have to report to their respective HODs. HODs is the head of department, and all the head of departments have to report to the principal, and principal has to report to the director or the management committee. So this example of relationship that I have given you, student, teacher, HOD, principal, director. This is a bottom to top relationship that I have told you. In the bottom we have student, and at the topmost level we have director. So this kind of structure, top to bottom or bottom to top, that doesn't matter. This type of structures or the hierarchical relationship between people defines the structure within an organization. Environment. Environment is nothing but the factors or forces which have an impact or which have an influence on the organization. These factors that we are talking about that will have an impact on the organization may exist within an organization and also outside the organization. The factors which exist within the organization and have an impact on the organization are known by the name of internal environment. An external environment comprises of all those factors and forces that do not exist within the organization. Rather, they exist outside the organization, but also have an impact on the working of the organization. Let us discuss them in detail. So organizational environment can be divided into internal and external environment. We have already defined these two. External environment can further be divided into task environment and general environment. Let us see this flow chart, this diagram, to study more about the same. Here you can see through the diagram that they have clearly shown you the both of the kind of environments, which is internal and external. They have already divided the external environment into task and general. So what are those factors that are considered under internal environment, and what are the other factors which are considered or which comprise of the external environment? In internal environment, basically, as we have already discussed, what is internal environment? Internal, the word itself means within the organization. So internal environment will comprise of all those factors which exist within the organization but have an impact on the working of the organization. Now the various elements, or you can call elements, you can say factors, you can also say forces, all these are words that are used for all those factors which comprise of the internal environment. So the main components or the main elements or the factors of internal environment are owners. Who are the owners of the organization will have a direct impact on the environment, on the organization. The board of directors, who are responsible for taking any kind of decisions for the organization, are also comprised or they are also counted under internal environment. Employees who work for the organization, and then we have the culture of the organization. What is the working condition under which the people work within an organization also have an impact on the organization internally, because all these people that you can see here exist within the organization and hence they are counted under the internal environment. Now there can be many other factors also which come under internal environment, like the physical assets. Physical assets means what are the production facilities that the organization is providing. Production facilities, you can also count all the departments like finance, marketing, R&D, which is research and development, production. All these departments which are existing within the organization will comprise of the internal environment. All the policies, rules, regulations, everything which are decided internally will come under internal environment. Then if we talk about the external environment, first let us take task. So task environment, with the name itself says that this will be related to the work that is done within an organization. Task means work. So who all are the people, or what all are the factors which are considered, or which are having the influence on the task of the organization, will come under the task environment. Like people who are supplying the raw materials, known as suppliers, will come under task environment. People to whom we are supplying, who are the end users, the customers, will also come under task environment. Then the competitors. Competitors are those people who are producing the similar kind of products or services that we are, or that the organization, our organization, is producing. So obviously competitors will be also responsible for having an influence on the working of our organization, and hence they are counted under the task environment. Then we have all the partners, the strategic partners, the alliances. If the organization has gone under any kind of partnership with somebody else, then those partners will also have equal influence on the working of the organization, but because they exist outside the organization, they are counted as external task environment. Then we have the regulators. Regulators are those people who make rules and regulations for the environment, or for the organization. Now these regulators can be either private regulators, or they can also be governmental regulators, government agencies. Then apart from this, in the task environment, you can also count your creditors who are supplying credits to you. You can also count financial institutions who are providing finances to you, shareholders, stakeholders. All these people are those people who have an impact on the working of the organization, but because they are not inside the organization, hence they are counted under the external task environment. Then we have the general environment. General environment will comprise of the PEST analysis. PEST means P stands for political, E stands for economic, S is for socio-cultural, and T is for technological. So PEST, PEST. PEST analysis or the PEST environment comes under the general environment. And then we have another one here, which is international dimension. International dimension basically will be more having its influence on those in organization which have their existence outside the country also, or maybe who are supplying their products or services internationally. Export houses, export products, organizations who are exporting their products to other countries will comprise under the international environment. Also at times people have taken their capital, or they have foreign investors in their organization, so for that also international environment will be counted. So what all factors come under the political environment or the political dimension? Any changes or any factor like your government policies, political wars, etc. will all come under the political environment. Then in the economic environment, in the political environment also, you can say which government is operating right now, so that government agencies will have impact on your organization. The structure of the government, then you can say parliament, how is the parliament working, everything that you can think of related to politics or political government will come under the political dimension. Then we have the economic PE. So economic dimension will cover all the factors which are having an economic effect on the organization. Economic effect, as in you can say economic wise, how much these factors will have an impact on the organization. So the factors that we are talking about will comprise of the economic structure like GDP, GNP, balance of payment of the country. All these will have an indirect impact on the working of the organization. Then what is the economic system like? whether it is capitalistic or it is socialistic, etc., will also have an impact on the organization. Then what are the various trade cycles that the organization is following? Whether in the market you have inflation or there is a recession will also have an indirect impact on the organization. All the economic policies, regulations, laws will also come under the economic dimension of the external environment. Then socio-cultural environment here. The socio-cultural environment by name says that it will comprise of all those factors which the society as a whole is, they are talking about the society as a whole in the socio-cultural dimension. So the society here would mean the population of the country, what is the population, what is the distribution, income distribution of the country, then the sex ratio, how many males or females you have, what is the caste, religion, all the demographic factors. Demographic factors will all come here in the socio-cultural dimension. Then what are the social values that people follow, what is the family standard of people, that is the standard of living of people, what is the literacy rate. So all these things will come under the socio-cultural dimension. Then we have technological dimension. Technological dimension means all about technology. So how much techno savvy is the business? How much are the people inside the business or inside the organization ready to accept the changes in the technology? How much are they open for R&D, research and development? Whether the organization is using an obsolete means old, so obsolete technology they are using, or they are using new technology for producing their products and services. Then as I've already said, the employees, how much are the employees open for accepting the new technologies that are coming in the market? What is the training required for the same? What is the cost involved in acquiring that technology for the organization, and then etc. etc. Everything related to the technological part will come under the technological dimension. And we have already discussed the international dimension. International dimension will cover everything regarding the international environment, like the trading policies outside the country, export rules and regulations. And then you can also say, because of globalization, people are actually more into exporting things, or they are dealing with the international market by some way or the other. So this environment will have an impact on the organization as a whole. That will be it from my side today. Thank you so much.